Sink or swim? Here's how not to get caught up in the deep end too soon. Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified, the world's largest independent online law school platform. I'm your instructor, Shaveen Bandadnayaka. When it comes to the study of law, specifically modules such as property law, trust law, or philosophical ones like jurisprudence, students often trip up, so to speak, in relation to the material that they should cover. Now granted, when you take the law, it amounts to an ocean of content and material. Some subjects like intellectual property, company law, or advanced contract law, for instance, is ever-growing and vast in terms of expansive nature of the material, in terms of the theory, the case law, and it often changes quite significantly, which means that as a student, as well as a practitioner, you need to be updated on the law, on the cases, on the theories and the arguments. So when it comes to a first year, second year, or third year law student, it becomes even more important to recognize not only the type of content that's available to you, the actual material itself, but the manner in which you digest those materials. This video is intended to give you a very brief overview and a practical guide on studying the law. But I'm going to use two particular subjects and topics related to those subjects in particular to illustrate how you can consolidate and master this technique of compartmentalizing on the one hand and then filtering out and distilling the information that you need at each individual stage of your academics. If you like the type of content that I make on this very YouTube channel, do subscribe and give a like and drop a comment below so that I can make the type of videos and the type of lessons that you want to see. Okay. If you take the type of content or material that you're presented with in terms of your academics, whether you are part of an institution, a university, whether you're doing a GDL, LLB, or even an LLM program, you can essentially spread it across a spectrum of three particular formats. You have the shallow content, the moderate content, and the deep end content. So what do I mean by these? Shallow content are the type of material that you might be presented on either a formal or informal basis that touches on the relevant components of the law and the material that relates to the surface level of what you need to know about the law and that particular subject. For example, this YouTube channel is a great source and a supplement in terms of the broad strokes and a bird's eye picture of not just the subjects but topics as well as methods of study. So any video that you would generally see in the How to Ace a Law Exam playlist on this very YouTube channel, as well as some of the sample lessons from my mini courses, would fall into the shallow material category. This is a great resource for you to start your process of studying so that you don't go too deep too fast. You have a broad stroke understanding of whatever particular subject area that you're going into. As an example, if we take jurisprudence, from this particular YouTube channel, you might be able to navigate to a set of sample lessons on Marxism, on natural law, or positivism for that matter. This, supplemented with the practical guide to the study of jurisprudence, will give you the best start possible to go into the subject area. So, as a student who has just started jurisprudence, what I would generally recommend to any of my fast track students as well is to first go through those videos to get a taste, so to speak, of the subject. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you would learn everything about the subject. On the contrary, going through those sample lessons as well as the practical guide will not only motivate you, but get you through the first 5, maybe 10% of the module so that you know what you're getting yourself into moving down the line and the threshold. So if that's the case, what exactly is the moderate level? The moderate level is essentially the written content that supplements this. Think about a series of books like the Nutshell series from the past, or more contemporarily, the Law Express series. They are not everything you need to know, but a bit more detailed than the video content that you might see on this YouTube channel. Along with this, as part of the moderate segment, let's say, of information, have a look at the online law school platform of the Law Simplified, complete with theory, tutorial, and workshop lessons. These are based on more comprehensive sets of lessons that I've conducted with my fast track and masterclass students that have been distilled so that the most opportune or optimum sets of information is presented to you. This forms much more detailed information than the shallow types of videos that you might generally see as a mini course or just an overarching view of the subject in this YouTube channel. But it's not as detailed as the deep end, which goes into much more granular areas of particular topics. So what exactly is the deep end then? The deep end is, as you might have already, the astute amongst you might have already considered, are the textbooks, the ones that go on to hundreds if not thousands of pages. So in the context of jurisprudence, for example, once you've gone through the pre-recorded fast track or the masterclass program on the online law school platform, one would try to then get access to a textbook that might fill in some of the gaps that have been left behind in the online law school platform, which essentially focuses more on the assessments, the assignments, and the examinations, or preparing you for that. So if you're a student who wants to go even further and understand a module for perhaps a dissertation or an LLM or a PhD program, you might then try to get the relevant textbooks, perhaps by an academic that is well recognized and reputed in that area, such as Craig, for instance. Have a look at some of the links in the description below to all three aspects or all three thresholds of information, from the shallow end to the moderate to the deep end. The goal is that in your journey of studying, in your journey of academics, you mustn't ever get overwhelmed by jumping straight into the deep end. Most students that I encounter have gotten frustrated and at times even left the study of law altogether because they've started in the wrong place. They've jumped straight into the deep end, and rather than being able to comfortably swim, they've unfortunately sunk. Having said that, until the next time that we meet, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.